Mario. Please come to the castle. I have baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess Toadstool. Peach.
Hey, and welcome. So for this episode of Retro Hour, I thought it would be fun to go back and re-experience the classic Super Mario 64 on Nintendo 64 hardware. It's one of the most iconic games of all time. It really helped to push the Nintendo 64 as a platforming powerhouse. In fact, I'd go as far as to say that this game really set the bar for 3D platformers at a time when 3D platformers were still struggling to find their feet. But as you can see, Mario is jumping into Peach's castle here. We are in the castle gardens here. I always loved how this let you kind of have this opening area as a playground. You can jump around, you can play in the trees, you can jump in the moat if you want, and it's a great way to sort of teach the player the mechanics, give them a space where they are completely safe, there's no enemies in this area. But we're just going to head inside. And that's pretty much as much story as we're going to get for a while. The story of this one is pretty simple. Peach has invited Mario over for some cake, and Bowser has shown up and kidnapped Peach, and also stolen the power stars in the castle. So we're going to be jumping into all these different worlds. We're going to be trying to get as many of these stars as we can. I don't know how many we'll get in this episode, but you know, it's definitely conceivable that we might get to the first Bowser. But yeah, Super Mario 64 really kind of set the template that a lot of 3D platformers, not just on Nintendo 64, but on PlayStation and other platforms as well, really kind of followed through with. And one thing you'll notice here is I'm not actually going for the star that I was told to go for. When you enter these levels, you can choose a star to go after, but that doesn't mean you have to go after that one star. You can actually go after any that you want. As long as it's obtainable within the level, you can grab it. And as you can see, we went for the one with the chain chomp there. And that's a very forward-thinking feature because it really allows you to sort of explore these worlds, and if you feel confident enough to grab a star without knowing like how you're supposed to get there, then all the better. But all of these worlds, there's 15 major courses, as they're called in Super Mario 64, for the player to play through. There are smaller ones, and all of these are kind of like little sandboxes where the player is left to experiment, explore, and work their way around. As you can see here, we've been told to head to the top of the Bomb-On Battlefield Mountain here, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We have to avoid some hazards on the way up, like the boulders there. The music in Mario 64 is so insanely catchy. Even all these years later, it's just great to listen to. Nintendo really knocked it out of the park on this one. What I also love as well is that Mario just moves so well. Even though this is a very early 3D game, Mario's movement is just so smooth and it's so fluid, and you're able to traverse the world in ways that allow you to move through it in different ways. So new players, for example, they're going to follow the beaten path, but more experienced players, they'll work out where the teleporters are, they'll work out where Mario can reach and grab the ledges. I just like that the player's given choices. But we're fighting the Bomb-On King here, on top of his mountain. We have to get behind him and we have to throw him like this. We have to do this 3 times. Now, the thing is, if we step too close to him, he will grab us and he'll throw us off the mountain and we'll have to restart this whole thing. So that's why I'm being really careful not to sort of get grabbed by him. There we go. So yeah, we've defeated the Bomb-On King. He is done for, but we get a star for our troubles. So this should have been the first star that we got, but unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I went for one earlier. The aim of Mario 64 is pretty simple. You just need to keep collecting stars from all of these worlds until you get enough stars to go and face Bowser. And the thing is, there is a variety of different objectives that you can be handed. Sometimes you'll be going to fight an enemy like we did just there. Other times you'll be fighting, well, not fighting, but racing against Koopas like this one here. This one shows up a few times in the game. well, twice I think, and basically we have to race them to the top of the mountain. Now, obviously you only get access to this when you've already been to the top of the mountain. This is the game's way of training you to move effectively through the world. So it's kind of like a gentle tutorial, because the Koopa, it's never really going to get there first, unless you deliberately go out of your way to let the Koopa win. I don't think there's any real way that you can lose this one. You can run here pretty quickly. The main objective here is just don't fall off the mountain. If you fall off the mountain, you've probably got enough time to get back up, but it's one of those situations where it's very, very hard to fail. We're going to use the teleport here just to, you know, get to the top quicker. And we've done it, but we have to wait for the Koopa to make their arrival. You can hear it sort of running up the mountain in the distance, the pitter-patter of its footsteps. As said though, I do love the music in this game. Mario 64 has one of the most iconic sort of roster of songs, and even though some of them do end up being overused, for example, this is used in the TikTok clock level later on, I believe, it is a very iconic and catchy part of the game. Grab the star here. So we've already got ourselves 3 stars. We need 8 to get into the first Bowser area. This message here basically tells us that there are more doors that we can now open up in the castle. Of course, I'm not going to do that because when I play Mario 64, I do like to clear all the stars in each of the courses before moving on, or at least as much as possible. So these pink bombs here are friendly. They are in most of the worlds and they activate the cannons for us. The cannons will be incredibly useful at various points. They allow us to shoot ourselves across levels, but also when combined with the wing cap, which we haven't got access to yet, we can actually fly around levels. So what I'm going to do here, we need to get to that island in the sky there. And obviously we're not going to make it because there's a big distance between us and the flying island. But what we can do is head to this cannon here, which is right underneath. So there is a tree there, and if we angle this just right, we can grab onto it. I think this is a bit too high, but yeah, it was just a bit too high. You can see there's a red coin on top of the tree as well. So what we do, we just have to drop down here. So we just slide down the tree and get the star in the box here. As you can see, this first world is very, very clearly designed to sort of slowly and softly teach the gamer all of the main things that they'll need to combat the rest of the game. I'm going to move on to another area here because unfortunately we do need the wing cap to get one of these stars, so I'll come back when we've got that. One advantage to getting the stars though is that we can now open more doors, which means more courses. As you explore Peach's castle, you'll find more of these courses dotted around, and they all have their own distinct themes. Some of them copy each other's themes and some of them reuse aesthetics pretty aggressively, but for the most part, the opening, let's say 10 courses, are generally quite different from each other, which I think is pretty neat. But what I am going to do is head up here. You can see this door requires us to have 1 star. We could have come here when we got the first star. And we're going to head inside here. Now this room seems very, you know, non-exciting, but there's actually a secret course here. And this is a timed race down the slide here. Now, if you can get to the end of this, there is a star in a box. But if you can get to the end of Peach's slide in under 21 seconds, you actually get a secret star. And the thing is, the game doesn't tell you about that. Unlike normal courses, these sort of extra areas, they don't have like a loading screen. You just get thrown into the action. We'll definitely be claiming that. You do have to be quite aggressive with the corners if you want to get that 21 seconds in. If you sort of dawdle or you sort of take your time going down the slide, you are definitely not going to get that on the first try. But as I mentioned, there are 15 main courses, and then you get courses like this, which they're sort of supplementary. They have like 1 or 2 stars in them usually, but they're not usually full worlds either. So unfortunately, there's not really much to this other than the slide here and on top of the grey building there. As you see, we just missed out on the 21-second line there. If we had triggered that again, it would have appeared as a blue star. That's a great visual indicator for stars that you've already collected. The gold stars get replaced with blue sort of translucent stars. But already we've got 6 here, and I'm quite pleased with that. Worm's Fortress is the official second course, so let's jump in here. So as you can see, the aesthetic here is similar, but it's not too similar. Instead of it being sort of like a big, wide, open green space, here we've got a fortress that we have to ascend. And there's lots of hazards here, there's lots of things that are working to hurt us. Those plants there, for example, they can hurt us if we don't sort of tackle them and deal with them. There's also some platforming on the way up here. Okay. I didn't think I was going to get that then. Unfortunately, they do reuse the music on this one, so this level does end up with the same theme from the first level. But here again, we face a boss at the top of the tower. This one's a bit easier to cheese. All you kind of need to do is stand and ground pound. Just don't die, that's the simple one here. Don't mess up like I did there as well. You do get a fair amount of health to help you through this game. You're never really kind of left without options to replenish health either, so unless you're in a really, really tough spot, you usually can come back from messing up. We've already got 7 stars, that's pretty great. We also got the high score there for the coins. We are going to be surpassing that. It's worth noting, to the top of the fortress, this one wants us to head back up to the top, but that's because the top of the level has changed. I know one of the big critiques that some people have about Mario 64 is that you get kicked out of the stage whenever you get a star, and I know that that annoys some people. Personally, it doesn't bother me that much. None of these courses are so overly long that you don't get back to where you want to be pretty quickly. And as you can see, they're messed up and went down the slide. So my story with Super Mario 64, this was the first game I got with my Nintendo 64. I got the N64 for Christmas, and I got this, I got Turok, and I can't remember the other 2 games I got. But I know that I had a good time with all 4 games, so it was a good time. I remember loving this game from the first time I played it. It was just such a blast. Because I hadn't really had much experience with 3D games, so this was like a different level to what I was used to. And you have to remember, back in 1996, early 97, when I got my Nintendo 64, up to this point we were more of a PC house. We'd had a Master System, and obviously nothing like this existed on the Master System, so getting a Nintendo 64 was just so cool to me. And what really helped to hype me up with Super Mario 64, we had a VHS that my dad had gotten from one of the game stores, and it had like a sizzle reel of all the upcoming Nintendo 64 games, and it had this on it, it had Pilot Wings, it had Doom 64. I will find that one day and I will watch it with you all on the channel, because that video completely sold me on the Nintendo 64 as a console, and I was like, I want this console so bad. So you can imagine my enjoyment when I opened it up on Christmas and it was there and it had Super Mario 64. I was so happy. And coming back to play this now, it's very simplified to compare to what modern platformers have to offer. But the thing you have to remember is that Super Mario 64 arrived at a time when 3D platformers were really not that advanced. If you look at some of the very early PlayStation 1 platformers, oh god, I mean that was just sheer incompetency from me. I long jumped right off the stage, which was very silly of me. Some of those early PlayStation 1 platformers were rough, and I mean rough to handle. Going back to play them now, it's night and day coming back to playing Mario 64 here, even if I do jump off the stage sometimes. So the star we're shooting for here, we could go to where that pink bomb is, but usually I can wall jump. I remember I was always able to wall jump here and get up to the star. Have I forgotten how to do that? I think it might just be because it's been a while since I've played this game. So we'll do it the way that the game intends us to. Again, we're talking to the pink bomb here, who's going to help us out and let us get to this star. All of these courses, by the way, they do kind of float in the air, so do be careful about sort of... Of course, I miss aim and I shoot straight into the floor or the roof of the area there, the floor of the bit above. But yeah, you have to kind of bounce yourself off the pillar here. As I said, if I was still a good gamer with this game, I would have been able to wall jump up here, but age gets us all, let me tell you. Interesting factoid, by the way, my first exposure to Mario as a gaming series wasn't even on a Nintendo console, it was actually on MS-DOS. For those who remember, way back in the day, there was a game called Mario and Luigi. It was sort of an unofficial port that was brought over, and it's a 2D Mario game, and I remember playing that avidly as a kid. So that was my first true exposure to Mario as a franchise, even though it's not an official Mario game. So of course, you know, jumping from that to this, it was like night and day to me as a kid. And I might play that on the channel sometime, because it's not even a terrible Mario port. It's still around, I think, on some of the internet websites. Getting back to the game here, we've jumped into a course where we have to get all the red coins. Now, on each of these levels, there is one star that has 8 red coins. You need to collect all 8 to get the star. Now, what I like to do when I'm collecting the 8 red coins is also get the 100 star from that course. And basically, to quickly explain that, if you've never played Mario 64, each of these courses has a hidden star where if you get 100 coins, you're given a bonus star that lets you stay in the level once you've collected it. And what I like to do, I like to collect the two together because they kind of help each other out. Collecting red coins adds 2 to your coin tally. The red coins are usually hidden in pretty devious spots like this. They kind of require you to look around the level and observe. Ooh, okay, almost fell off there. I was trying to do a side jump there to get up onto the top platform. Now, if I remember rightly, is there a teleporter in one of these corners? I think is it in this corner? Oh, it is. Right, okay, so that brings us all the way over here. In fairness, Womp's Fortress is probably one of the easiest courses to get 100 coins on, because this level is literally littered with coins galore. Wow, okay, I mistimed that completely. The main thing with these kind of levels is you've just got to be really careful, because some of these coins are located in pretty devious spots, and if you are not careful in how you control Mario, you're going to end up flying off the side like I did a bit earlier. It can happen. It's a hazard for Mario in these games. We can also sneak up on the plants here, and we can take out the blue coin. Well, no, not take out the blue coin. Take out the plant to get the blue coin. You can see here as well, this red coin is sort of deviously positioned in a way that you'll fall down if you attack this in the wrong way. You can also just go gung-ho on those and you'll still get the blue coin. We'll run across here. I think there's some coins down in the water. As long as we get this red coin here. See, that's very deviously positioned because it's kind of hidden out of view. Once we get these coins here, we'll be able to grab the 100 coin star. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So I've had a few people reach out to me on various platforms to just talk to me about the channel and the plans for the channel and how things are going. And I think that Retro Hour here is a good place to sort of talk about this, because I think that people who like this series are the people who reach out the most, because they want to talk about maybe me doing more Super Mario 64 videos, maybe me doing some Tomb Raider videos. And the answer to that in my mind is I'm not bound on this channel by genre, by time period, or anything else. I have no mandate for games that I want to cover, and I'm always open to making videos which I think are fun and interesting. At the end of the day, I haven't got like a set thing. The only reason I do Doom videos a lot is because I like talking about Doom, and I love talking about Duke Nukem, but I also love talking about Tomb Raider, I love talking about Pokemon. There's a lot of series like that I have interest in, and as the channel continues to grow, I will be kind of exploring those a lot more. Give me a second. I want to see if I can get this star. I want to do something silly here. I'm going to do something silly. Oh, yes. Yes, I landed on that star. Excellent. But yeah, for me, I'm not bound by any particular limitations. The only reason I don't do Super Mario 64 videos, the only reason I don't do like more Mario Kart videos and stuff like that is because I do question sometimes if it will work on this channel. That's the simplest way for me to put it. And this is kind of the point that I've been reaching. So don't worry, that tangent was like reaching somewhere. I have been considering the idea of doing a spin-off channel which focuses more on games like this. Now, I haven't got anything formally planned, and if this bird drops me here, I'm going to scream. Oh no, the camera's messing me up. Oh no. So you have to drop it into this little cage here. Excellent. So, sometimes that doesn't go that smoothly. Sometimes it turns into a nightmare. I am kind of curious to hear what people think about that idea, because in my mind, it would make sense. But then at the same time, obviously, when you spin a channel off, people might not just want that. So if people watching this kind of think that that's something that they might be interested in, something that's a bit more focused on like these classic Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 games, you know, games that aren't like shooters or boomer shooters, do let me know, because I am kind of looking into that. I kind of like as well how this star wants us to blast into a wall. There's like so many walls in this level, and you're kind of just expected to figure out that you're supposed to blast into that corner there. Yeah, some of the stars are very obtuse in this one, very obtuse. But yeah, if that's something that would interest you, obviously let me know in the comments or reach out to me, and you know, it's something that I'm open to discussing, because I am looking at ways to kind of satisfy the creative itch in that regard. But yeah, we've got all the stars in Womp's Fortress there. Womp's Fortress is not a difficult level by any means. In fact, I would argue I think it's a bit easier than Bomb-On Battlefield, because you don't need to use any of the caps in it. You don't really have that much difficulty other than there being some like narrow platforms. Now, because we got 10 stars, you see this ray of light coming in from the sky. You have to head inside here to get the wing cap. So this was kind of a novel concept back in the day, the idea that Mario wears these different caps and he gets new abilities. It's a shame because the wing cap doesn't really return in anything after this, and it's probably one of my favourite abilities that Mario has in any of these games. You've also got to be careful when you're heading down, because if you want the star from this sort of mini course here, you do need to get the 8 red coins, and there isn't actually a cannon here. I've never understood why they didn't put a cannon here, because surely, since this is the training ground for the cap, you would think that like they'd want you to kind of associate the two together, but no. And what it means is if you fall onto that platform in the middle and you haven't got the red coins that were up top, you're not going to get them. You're going to have to basically just jump back out. What that also means is that we can head back into Bomb on Battlefield and grab ourselves some stars. Now, there was one star in this. It's saying to us go for the red coins, but I'll do that in a bit. You can see that now that we've hit that red switch, the wing cap here has become activated, and it means we can actually fly around this level. There's only one spot officially in the game where you can mix and match your caps, and it's the invisibility cap and the metal cap. You don't actually get to mix the wing cap with anything else, which I think is a bit of a shame, to be honest. Okay, we're going to go straight for it. Basically, once you've got the wing cap, you have to grab all these coins here. There's 5 coins in the middle of these circles. Oh, we almost got all 5 in one perfect shot there. But I've ground pounded there because I was not going to lose that. So now that we've got all 5 of those coins, which, you know, normally that's supposed to take a few attempts, but I got very lucky there. There's nothing but luck going on there, let me tell you. Now we just need to go and get the star. And that'll put us on 15. We're doing really, really well here for stars. Oh, wow, okay. I was very nervous there because we lost a lot of health very quickly. But luckily we've got it, and so that means there's only one more star in here. So I'm going to go in and we're going to grab the 8 red coins. Now obviously, because this is a bit wider than Womp's Fortress, you need to do a bit more exploring. But you also need to kind of be on the lookout for where we can get ourselves some coins, because we are going to be going for the 100 coin star here. Some levels it's really easy to get the 100 coin star on, others it's not. Oh yes, I love the Koopa shell here. So you can see the Koopa's running away from us, and there's a reason for that. If we jump on its back, it's going to drop its shell. If we don't get back in time, you can see it tried to dive back into its shell. It will try to reclaim the shell as its own. Excellent. So we're going to be using the shell here just to kind of move around the level a bit quicker. And it's a bit difficult to control, but once you kind of get a handle on it, it's not too bad. You can see that it knocks out quite a lot of the enemies in one, which is fabulous for us because we want to get through this as quickly as we can. Just don't get bitten by the chain chomp there, and definitely don't bounce into a wall. Doing that will instantly rob you of the shell. What I am going to do is run up here and grab the red coin on that slope. You're supposed to go up top and slide down, but usually I just run up from the bottom. Oh, almost. Unfortunately, you can't really do much else other than go fast on the shell here. I do want to lose it soon, I think. There we go. So you can see that there's 2 red coins either side of the star platform there. Now, I freely admit, it took me years to realise that these poles here, you're not supposed to jump on them and ground pound them. You're actually meant to run around them because they actually spew out coins. Now, don't ask me how that works. Don't ask me why these random poles get very excited and shoot out coins. That is beyond the remit of this video, let me tell you. But it does help us very much to get to that 100 coin line that we're trying to reach here. Head over here. So unfortunately, one of the things you've got to do if you want to get that 100 coin star is you've got to go and, well, you got to blast all these bombs here, because they'll all drop coins. Well, most of them do for the first time you destroy them. I heard a coin drop there. We won't bother with that because it's not super important for me to grab those. We'll just head on to the next area here. Oh wow, okay, walked right into that one. Of course I want this coin, and this coin's shooting off into the distance there. That's not good for me. So instead of taking the teleporter here, we're going to head up the side of the mountain. You can see that there's a cannon there that's shooting bubbles out. Those are the ones that have hit us previously. The main source of red coinage on this island is on top of that tree. We saw that in the previous star. I'm going to grab the wing cap here. One of the best things that we can probably do for ourselves here is grab as many coins from the sky as we can, because obviously there's a whole bunch of coins here. Okay, I missed those coins completely there. You got to be careful when you drop from the sky like that. You do lose quite a bit of health, which is obviously not ideal. I want to try corralling all these bombs over here. Okay, I see one coin. Where's the other coin gone? It's very slowly making its way away from us. Grab that coin there. So we've got 88 coins at the minute. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get to that in time. You have a coin. You do. So these boxes usually have 3 coins in them, but you have to smash them against a wall in order to get them. So we've got 92 coins here. It shouldn't be too difficult to find more, because we have to find 2 more red coins anyway. I think there's a red coin behind this chain chomp here. Yeah, there is. I have terrible depth perception. Hence why that did not go the way I was hoping. There's one up on top here. So we've got all the red coins, but we are still 4 coins short of the total that we need. Now I'm trying to think quickly, where can we grab some coins easily? If only I grabbed those coins earlier on. You can see that the bombs don't always drop coins. If they've already exploded, that kind of hits the limit. I'm just trying to think, where can we get 3 coins quickly? I think the easiest way to do this will be to just go into the sky and grab some coins from up there. So what I'll do, I'll head over here because I just want to check if there's any out this way. Doesn't look like there's going to be. I'm going to shoot up onto the mountain here, and we're going to head down. There is a cannon just around the corner here. Well, not this corner, the next corner. A corner. Well, the next corner. It will be here. There it is. Thank you, cannon, for making me wrong twice there. I'll grab the wing cap here because I could theoretically just shoot from the cannon here and wish for good luck, but the reality is I'll probably end up gaining 99 coins and then regretting that decision. Okay. And also the star spawns where you pick up the 100th coin, so obviously we are in the air here, so I've got to make sure I grab the star. Oh, that's a very precarious position to put me, game. I'm just saying, it's a very precarious position to put me in. Thank you for that. That's very much appreciated. So now we can go and get the other star, which is the 8 coin star. Excellent. So we've just got 2 stars from here. That means we've got 17. 17 is actually pretty good for... We've been playing for about half an hour, so 17 is actually not that bad. As you can probably clock from the speed that we're going through things here, these courses are not that long. They're kind of designed to be short, sharp punches rather than long endurance slogs. We are going to be heading into the 3rd course, I believe. This 4th course. This is Cool Mountain. So this is the first of the snow stages. I love the snow stages in this game. They all have this really cozy feel to them, and they're really just nice to hang around in. Unfortunately, this one has a giant, massive slide that we need to get down. Now, of course, we practiced earlier on with Peach's slide, but this one doesn't have any safety rails to kind of keep us in check. Excellent. So there is a shortcut here, and the game does pretty much signpost that there's a shortcut there. It's a good idea to take it because you can't use it in the race with the penguin, which we'll be doing probably in a few minutes. And this brings us down to the bottom of the mountain. So we've got 18 stars. We're really flying here, aren't we? I don't think I'm going to get all the stars from this one, just because I think that I want to show off a few of the other courses before wrapping this all up. But this one requires us to bring this baby penguin down to its mama, who's at the bottom. The funny thing is that there is a second penguin on the map who's like a baby, and if you bring that one to her, she kind of throws a big strop and says, "That's not my child." As you can hear though, it's going to whine incessantly as we make our way down the mountain. One thing I do love though is that when you land on the snow there, you kind of just land and deep in it, so you end up having to push yourself out. You found my precious baby. So now we've got the star, but I'm of course going to do the thing. If you've never seen this, well, good news, when you pick up the baby again, she gets mad. She gets proper mad. And of course, you can do this. You have to get it just right, and be careful because you can fall off the edge here. Off goes the baby, and she just looks like, what just happened? Is Mario a villain? Well, I'm afraid, my dear, I am a villain. And don't worry, the world resets when I leave, so that penguin will go back to where it was, which isn't really beneficial for the mum or the young penguin, but, you know, it is what it is. So we're going to do the big penguin race here. Now, what's interesting is that this is one of the few things that you actually get if you collect all the stars in Super Mario 64. So basically, this penguin here bloats up quite impressively, and yeah, it's one of those interesting things that I guess that they were thinking of things that they could make as a reward for getting 120 stars. So the thing with this penguin is that it's on a rubber band, so and trying to fight it like that inevitably led to me plummeting to my death, which is not good for anyone involved. We'll dive back in and give it another try. Okay, so it took a few tries, but, you know, it's not easy sometimes. The way that this course sort of twists and turns, and the way that the penguin can just sort of yeet you out the way is particularly frustrating. You really have to be careful because, as you can see, that penguin is right on my back, and if it gets in the way, if you get in the way of it, it's like you might as well just sort of hand it over now. Okay? Okay. Okay, we've made it. Good. Oof. It was a bit hairy there. Took several attempts, which, you know, I showed you in the quick montage, but we did it in the end. And like I said, when you come back here with 120 stars, this penguin is much wider, and yeah, it's a nice little novelty. If a bit underwhelming as 120 star gift, but hey, we got ourselves a star here, and that's all that matters. I think what I'm going to do now, I really want to show off one other level before we head off to Bowser. So I love this level. This is actually one of my favourite levels in all of Super Mario 64. You need 3 stars to get in here, but it's such a chill vibe, and the level isn't too big, it isn't overly complicated, it's just a good time. But first thing first, I'm going to dive in and we're going to do a quick visit into here. So this is a secret world, like I mentioned. This game does have a fair few of these. They're not big, they're not complex, but they are fun, and this one challenges you to do some swimming. We are making our way around the aquarium here. I assume this is some kind of aquarium. It must be because, you know, there's nothing else going on outside. It does make me wonder who designed Peach's castle to have these kind of hazards in them. So we just need to collect the 8 red coins here. There are other coins, but there's not enough for us to get 100 coin star, so there's no point in us really trying. So with the 8th coin collected there, we can now go and get the star. So the reason I wanted this star is because if we're clever about this, if I can get all these stars pretty quickly, I might be able to go and face the second Bowser as well before ending out this video. So we're going to head into this level here. So like I mentioned, this is one of my favourite levels. Jolly Roger Bay, it has a lot of charm and it's a very chill area to hang out in. I also kind of like how this first level here, the first star, it's kind of set more at night, and when we come back later on, it's going to be in daytime. You don't really see that kind of shift in time very often in Super Mario 64. The objective here is we've got to go into that window there, but you can see that there is a creature blocking the way. We've got to coax it out. So when I was a kid, this one used to frustrate me because I could never figure out what you were actually meant to do. I used to try going up to it, I used to try punching it under the water. You can't punch it under the water, by the way. Tried many times, can't. No, you have to come into this cave here, and I'm not quite sure where the trigger is for it, but I just come in here and I just run around everywhere because something here triggers the eel to leave the ship. This is a future star that we'll be dealing with later on. We're not going to bother with the Goombas right now. We're not shooting for the 100 coin star yet, so probably makes a good idea to just kind of go as quickly as we can into the sunken ship. Hopefully it's left. If it hasn't, then I'm going to be a bit confuzzled about what to do here. Oh, lovely. We can head inside. Oh, inside Mario. That's the one. So this is kind of like a little level within the level. We need to hit these chests in the correct order. If we don't, we get buzzed like that. Luckily, when you open up the chests, you get a big air bubble that gives you all your health back. So it does kind of remove some of the tension from this area. Well, that was wrong. You also need to be careful because if you pick the wrong chest as you're going midway through, like I just did there, it means you have to do the whole thing again. Again though, you do still get the air bubbles, so it's not like there's any actual threat here. If this had enemies underwater here, this might be a bit more terrifying for the player, but luckily you're not punished that much. As you can see, the water is coming down. You're supposed to do a big platforming section there to jump off all those like shelves, but what I'm doing, I'm just coming up top here because it's just a lot easier to swim up before the water drops down to allow me to get to the star here. There we go. And that's star number 2, get. Now, that version of the level that you just saw, we don't actually get to go back there unless you pick the first star in the menu again. No, what happens here, it actually shifts the time of the day, and you'll see that when we come back in here. It's a lot brighter and a lot less misty. The ship is now also floating above the water over there, so you can see that we have had an impact on this world. Which is pretty interesting because, like I mentioned, there's not very many levels where that actually happens to this extent. Obviously in Womp's Fortress we saw the top of the fortress come back, but here we've seen a shift in the time of day, and we've also seen the ship make its way back to the top of the water, so it's all good here. Now, you can see there's a star in that jet stream there. We really need the metal cap. There is a way to get it without the metal cap, but it kind of pushes you away. You can see the eel is back inside here. I'm very surprised that didn't hurt me there. You need to stand in front of it, well, swim in front of it to annoy it enough to come out. And when it does, eventually you'll see that it's got a star on its tail. So you've got to press A to keep up with the eel, because if you don't, it will swim away from you, and then it becomes a bit of a pain to chase it, because obviously you've got decreasing health. But luckily, if you know what you're doing, you can grab that one fairly easily. The stars in this level are not particularly difficult. I'd actually say this is a lot easier than Cool Mountain, where I think some of the stars can be a bit more trickier to get your hands on. The only one here that's really a pain is the one that requires you to have the metal cap, and you can only get the metal cap when you've opened the second set of levels. Unless, of course, you go into the jet stream and fight against the currents, which you can do, but I'm not skilled enough for that. We're going to head back to that cave that we were in just a tiny bit earlier. We're going to go and open up the chests there. I'm also spying where the coins are on this level. If I remember rightly, this level is pretty stingy with its coins, so you have to sort of pay attention to where you're going and where the coins actually are. Is it this one? Yeah, it is. Excellent. You never forget some of these things. So once you open the final one there, the star pops out. I do think it's a bit cheap to use this twice on one particular level, having like the opening chest thing, because you did it in the first star and you're doing it here. I would have put a boss or something in there, to be honest. It probably would have been a bit more fun, but hey ho, Nintendo made this game, it's their party. So now we're going to go for the red coins, and the thing with the red coins is we're probably going to have to go for the 100 coin as well here, because I'm going to be straight up with you, this level is very stingy, and I do remember as a kid being kind of a bit sort of miffed at how you were meant to sort of get all the coins, because they're not all immediately clear to the player. I think the worst one is the other water level, where I think there's only like 101 coins in total, and that includes the red coins, so you've kind of got no choice in that one but to go for it when you're collecting the red coins. Going to be a bit careful here. I just want to get the coins. I'm not particularly fussed about getting on the ship. Right, so because that means then I don't have to come straight back on here later. So you can see the ship is rocking back and forth, but going back and forth also means that we can access the red coins rather generously. I think there's 3 red coins on this ship. Yes. We're going to jump into the water here. The rest of the red coins are in the water, I think. I think some of them are in the clams near the start of the level, so probably best for us to head out there. I don't remember if there's any in the cave. We'll have to check that out later. We're going to have to head that way anyway to get the 100 coin star. But yeah, I love the music on this level. I just like the vibes of this one. It's very, very chill, and it does feel very kind of calm compared to the bombastic sort of nature of the opening levels. This one feels like a much more sort of chill and mellow sort of outing. I know some people don't like this level, but I would put this in my top 3 if I was being totally honest. But of course, the only problem with swimming like this is we need to make sure that our oxygen doesn't run out. In this game, oxygen is tied to your health meter directly, so the longer you stay underwater, the more health you're going to lose. As soon as you surface, though, you do get it back, so it's not like you're like in imminent danger as long as you sort of know where you can get back to the surface. I think there's one like right at the bottom. Yeah, there's one at the bottom there. You can see it. And the eel's also looking at it, it seems. So yeah, the eel will just sort of swim around now. It's kind of annoyed. We annoyed it enough to to get it out of its hidey hole. So the 7th one is there. Is it in the cave? I'm gonna have to head into the cave anyway to get the blue coins. The blue coins are a lifesaver if you're going for the 100 coin star. Well, we're not getting that life, let's be honest there. I genuinely can't remember if the last red coin is in here or not. We're going to grab the coins there. I'll have a quick run around the back, see if there's any back here. I don't think there is. I think I might have missed it in the water. There are some coins here though, so that does actually help me out a lot. Grab the... So you need to pound on this. We will be needing these blue coins if we want to get the 100 coin star. So, yep, excellent, got it here. So this is going to be star number 25. That's a lot to say that we haven't been to first Bowser. The only problem now is I actually have to go and find this last red coin because I'm actually a bit confused. I really thought for a second that it was going to be in the cave there, but obviously I was wrong. It's been known to happen. Now, is it in here? Let's have a quick look. No, I took the red coin out of there, didn't I? I don't think it's down here. Because if it was down here, I'd see it. I will do a quick scout just to make sure. This is part of the fun of these red coin challenges. You know, these red coins can be anywhere, and you've got to keep your eye open. There? No, it's not. And as you can see, the health timer is going off there because I am reaching low health. Is it over here? Is it under the ramp? Have I missed something really obvious here that I'm completely forgetting about? Let's have a look. I'll go and stand over here because this is one of the highest points in the level. I'll probably be able to see it when I'm looking in first person here. Let me just have a look. I can't see it in the water. Oh, can you see it? It's actually where I wasn't looking. But when I zoomed out there from first person, it kind of locked. It kind of appeared. No. Well, actually, no. You know what? This isn't bad because we can get the next star very, very quickly because of this. So, might have actually saved some time there. Excellent. I'm gonna dive into the water here. But yeah, I do love this level. Like I said, this is one of those levels that like I've always kind of had a soft spot for. I know it's not the community's favourite. I know that a lot of people who play Mario 64, it's not held up in high regard. But if I was to do a ranking of this, and hey, maybe on the channel one day I will do, you know, this would feature very, very highly, even though like, that is not the critical opinion. And I've just realised I've forgotten where the star appears. I've actually forgotten where the star appears when you get the 8 red coins on this one. Okay, let's see if I can work this out. Okay, there it is. Okay, that was a bit embarrassing because I know it spawned in and then I completely forgot about it. And then I tried to rush. So here's the tip: if you rush, you suffer in this game. Don't rush; it doesn't work. Famous last words there. Famous last words. And it's not the game; it's me. It's all 100% on me because I'm being silly. I'm not doing this the way you're meant to do it. I'm trying to jump over to save time. There you go. I jumped intentionally to where I knew there was like a ramp after it, so I wasn't gonna fail again. Okay, so we've got our 26th star. We only need 4 more to go and face Bowser in his second outing when we get that far. So, there is a very easy star we can get in here. In fact, this one is easy if you know how to do it. It basically wants you to use the cannon here to launch somewhere. But the thing is, it's not immediately obvious where you're meant to launch to. Which is fine, because I'm going to show you. So you kind of need to shoot into this general direction here. And once you've made it over here, you can jump over and grab the star. Now, as easy as that looks, when I was a kid, I had no idea that you were supposed to do that. And that took a long time to figure out and remember. That's why I remember it. So we only need 3 more stars to go and face Bowser in his second incarnation. Unfortunately, having just jumped back into this painting, I've realised that we can't actually get this star, so we're just going to quit out and exit course. So now we're going to go and face Bowser here. So how this works, you need a set number of stars to get into the Bowser room here. And you can see that Peach is at the end here, except it slowly turns into Bowser. And as a kid, I used to spend way too long playing with this door here. Yes, you can stay here as long as you want. You can't go any further though than that. But yes, this is the first of the Bowser levels. These levels are very puzzle focused, they're very platforming heavy, so the idea here is that you are meant to, you know, put your skills to the test, and they are worthy skills of test. I am going to go for the coins here. If I mess up though, I'm going to probably not do on the second run. But yeah, what can I really say about Mario 64? It's one of my favourite games of all time. I can play it now and have a good time with it. I love playing the mods for this, and I'll be honest, I love watching YouTube videos of people playing Mario 64. It's a game that even all these years later, I can still effortlessly get enjoyment out of from a lot of angles, and you know, that's great. Like recently, I've been watching various videos where people do tag sort of hunts, so people will actually go into levels and they have to hide and find each other. Really, really clever stuff, and it just kind of goes to show you that a lot of these classic games like Doom, like Super Mario 64 here, they live on through the communities that mod and just keep the games alive, and I love that. I love that there are communities out there so dedicated. I'm going to just stop talking while I'm making it. Can I say it? Excellent. That are just dedicated to making these games the best they can be. Because I guarantee you, if Nintendo had thought of a way to make multiplayer work in this game, they would have put multiplayer in this game. Because they did put multiplayer in the DS version, I believe. So I know there's a red coin just behind this platform here. I also know there's one up top. So number 7 is here. I think number 8 is like just there. So this is where the camera's gonna let me down here, isn't it? I thought it was there. I thought we were gonna just land on top of it. Yeah, you can see it. I can just see the edge of it there. Oh, I need to be careful. Okay, the camera's not helping me here. So one thing I don't like about Mario 64 is the camera, and I think that isn't exactly breaking new ground to say that, but it is worth me pointing out that as much as I love this game, I do not love the camera. Oh, that was a mixture of my incompetence and the camera combining to create such a spectacular moment of fail. So yeah, I obviously failed pretty hard there on the second attempt, so here we are, third time's the charm. Let's get out of here. I'm not even going to bother with the star. I'll get that star somewhere else in the game. So this is our first jamboree with Bowser. The intention here is pretty simple. You've got to swing him round and blast him into all those bombs. Sounds easy, but when Bowser starts moving here, he can pick up speed pretty quickly, and yeah, unfortunately I have never been great at this. At best, I can kind of get... My tactic normally is to get really close to the bomb, and then sort of just drop him on top of it. See, the thing is, if you let too much speed build up, it becomes really hard to kind of make it happen. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to do this. Oh my! I did tell you all. I told you all I was not good with this. I've never been great at this. Bowser there throwing a little tantrum. I physically could not have missed that if I had tried. So we've beaten Bowser the first. Now, we've just passed the hour mark, but I do feel we can easily get to the second Bowser fight. And I think I'm going to, because, you know, it seems like the right thing to do. We are so close. Why end a good thing early for no reason? So when you get a key like that, it allows you to access a new part of the castle. Rather cleverly, they didn't let you have access to the whole castle. They basically make you work through the whole thing, and you get access to it piece by piece, which I think is really clever. And obviously, a lot of 3D platformers kind of took this and made it their own in their games. The Bowser room is to the left here, but we're going to go to the right. So if I'm not mistaken, there should be a bunny in here somewhere. Oh, there is. So these bunnies are so annoying, so annoying. Like, if you don't actually jump where the... Oh, amazing. This normally takes like 5-10 minutes, but hey. When you catch him, you get a star, and obviously a star is a good thing, so that means we only need 2 more. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think we can get a free star as well. So yeah, some of these toads in the castle that you've been seeing around, they just kind of give you general help, but if you talk to them, they can actually give you stars sometimes. There we go. So that's number 29. We just need 1 more, and then we can access the second Bowser area. Mario works fast, let me tell you. I'm trying to work out which star can we get the quickest. I think the red coin star is actually the easiest one for us to go for here. So obviously that's telling us to boil a bully, and that's way off in the distance. But what you can do in this level, you can see all the red coins on this level are basically in one spot here. So all we need to do is avoid falling into the lava, and if you do fall into the lava here and one of those slide over you, you can get trapped infinitely there, so don't do that. If we do that, we've got the 30th star. So we can now head to the second Bowser area. And Peach is there telling us, come save me, please. So we'll head this way. Like I mentioned, I normally wouldn't do this, but obviously, you know, there's no reason for me to stop if we're having a good time, and we're so close to kind of getting the second Bowser out of the way here. I might as well, you know, finish it off. Unfortunately, before you can do this, you've got to do Dire Docks. So I mentioned earlier on that there was another water level. This is that one. This level is dire. The name is very appropriate. It's basically two rooms linked together with what kind of feels like a test direction. I've never been really sure why this area feels so kind of weird. This should, if they were going to do this, they should have just made this rocky so it at least blends in with the rest of the level. But to me, this feels like a test map that kind of made its way into the final game. Because when you come to here, it's still rocky. Like I said, it's a very confusing little thing, and I don't quite understand. But what's interesting about this level, this is the only level, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong here, where there is a sort of story progression, because we have to board Bowser's sub here. And the thing is, when you come back into this level after finishing this first star, you need to have finished the Bowser lava level, which is the second Bowser boss level. Otherwise, you're not actually able to get all the red coins because they're above us. I like the branding of Bowser there. You basically have to beat Bowser to complete this level fully, so you can't just kind of get all the stars from here. Quite why we needed to board Bowser's sub when we just can literally jump in this hole here, I have no idea. So this one is lava themed. You can sort of play around here and you can get... Oh, didn't mean to do that. You can sort of cheese this a little bit, because if you're kind of clever... Ooh, that nearly went very, very wrong. Oof. You can sort of cut big sections of this level out. In fact, I'm not going to go for the red coins on this one. That just seems like a hassle that's not really worth it, let's be totally honest. But yeah, since we're closing in on the end of this Mario 64 run, this is one of my favourite games of all time, and it's a game that I replay effortlessly. I love playing this game. It's good fun, it's a good time, and frankly, like, I just feel that, you know, this game has aged in quite a lot of ways, but the charm is still there, and the nostalgia kind of helps to carry and cover up a lot of the issues. For me personally, this is always going to be one of my favourite games. In terms of me covering more Mario stuff on the channel, like I mentioned earlier on, there is a chance that I will sort of launch a more dedicated channel for that kind of thing, because I think that that might be the way forward on that. I haven't made any decisions, but I will kind of keep you updated. But for now, I feel that playing this, like, I'm smiling the whole time, and that's all that really matters with video games. As long as you're having a good time, who cares what other people think? And no, I'm not a huge lover of the DS version. I know it added a lot of new things in. I got that on launch day as well, because I bought a Nintendo DS Game Station. If you're in the UK, you'll remember what Game Station is. I didn't particularly like the control scheme in that one. Let's go, let's go. So we make our way down this very, very weird funnel here, and we end up in front of Bowser. Now, Bowser, we've just faced off against him once, so this is very annoying for him, I imagine. Keep getting beaten by Mario. You can see that the gimmick on this one is that the whole platform sort of rises and falls. But luckily, you know, it's not that difficult. And I say that knowing I'm about to miss this throw, so close. So close. Gotta be careful here, because we are quite close to the edge. If I overcook this, we could very well end up in the lava down below. Okay, I can't miss this. I surely cannot miss. I cannot miss. So that's Super Mario 64 on Retro Hour. Let me know what you guys think of Super Mario 64. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's overrated? Did you play this back in the day when it released onto Nintendo 64? Let me know, and thank you so much for checking out this Retro Hour.